Morning, artists.
Hi, Talk.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Morning, Tom.
Hello.
You have a good Easter.
Yeah, thank you. Did you?
Yeah, it's a very busy Easter, but we've achieved so much that one of the things I've done for today is to put together a PowerPoint of everything that's coming up, and hopefully, that's it's pretty much all good news, really. So there's a lot of nice things to show you today. So we'll open with that, I think, and then we've got some other visual stuff to show you as well. But we may well.
Tom, can I just say you've got a new lady online? Some of the other people couldn't make it, so they're going to watch the recording.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But Leslie is online. Another
Leslie. Hello.
I don't know whether you can hear me. I'm here too.
I can't hear you.
Linda.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, hi, Linda. Sorry.
And there's Leah. Morning, Leah.
Yeah. Unusual to get two Leslies at once, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can never have too many Leslies.
No, I agree.
Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
My middle name is Leslie.
Oh,
Is it?
Got three then.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
My middle
good
name.
heavens. They're everywhere today.
Outnumbered by Leslie's. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the first order of play that we all need to jump in to Leslie. So we've invited quite a few people today. So we may kind of get people join us in the next few minutes, and that's okay. So I think we'll just catch our breath for a minute, and we'll do the slideshow in kind of 2 minutes or so. Once everyone's kind of settled. Just as a heads up as well, if you remember, we were talking a little bit about Andy Goldsworthy on the Journeys project before. So I think next week and the week after, we've got a film called Rivers and Tides, which is I don't know whether anyone. It's a film about Goldsworthy's work, and it's absolutely hypnotically beautiful. It's one of the best things I've seen. So I thought what we might do next week and the week after is hijack the seminar to split the film into two halves and watch it together, and then have some breakout rooms to talk about what we discovered from it. It's a very beautiful thing. So I'd like to start kind of subverting the seminars for things that that we can all benefit from. So yeah, 18 participants. I'm pleased with that. Well, thank you all for joining us. So we've got like a reasonable amount to get through, but I'm going to start with you may notice just before I do that, actually, I was just about to screen share, but have you guys got extra things along the bottom? So a reactions thing at the end on your tool?
No.
I have. I have.
Some people might not. That we've now got,
Oh, yeah.
we've upgraded the Zoom, so we've got kind of
Oh.
two. One of them is called Whiteboard, which is an interactive mutual drawing thing. So if we get time today, we could often play on that, but if not, we'll play on that in the next couple of weeks. Basically, it's something that we can all draw on at once, and I think it should be hilarious. It should be great fun. So we'll see if we get that. But, anyway, so yeah, I'll screen share and I'll go into the slides first. So I've shown more slides than this in the past. Sometimes we've had slideshows like 60 slides or whatever. There's only 25 on this, but it's quite kind of information rich, really. So now's the time really to just, if you want to take any notes in Sketchbook, or if you want to pause us at any particular slides and and ask us more about it, or just we can take questions at the end as well if you want. So this is about some of the new things that are coming up And some of them have been the kind of the product of quite hard work that Paul and I have been doing in the background for a while. And, you know, it's all kind of come to fruition at once, really. So, and obviously we're very kind of blocked by, you know, but obviously over the period of lockdown and all that kind of stuff, there's not a lot of stuff we could do. I felt like when we lost the studio that we were going backwards. It appears not. So I'm quite excited about some of these things. So obviously Art from the Start was our biggie. As we know, Art from the Start was our staple at Rose Lane. It's been brilliant to get that back at Smithdown 455, who've been amazingly supportive. So Brenda at 455 is as cool a partner as we're going to get, I think. So Paul and I had this idea, we're considering changing the name to Art for Everyone. So that's so we can include new people as we always have done. But it also recognises that a lot of you guys have done Art from the Start for 5 years now. So it's not really from the start anymore. It's a lot more nuanced and there's a lot more kind of information and learning that you guys bring to the table now. So in some ways you may notice we've kind of started to step the learning up a little bit. But it would still have that element of Art from the Start where we wouldn't, you know, kind of do things that are too kind of, you know, outlandish. You know, we keep it in the way it is now, but just change the name really. So for now, people will get an understanding that it's about them rather than just a kind of off the peg cause. So we start back on Tuesday and Wednesday morning at 10, and we'll have a great new staff member for the Wednesdays. Slides in about the new staff member. So suddenly the Tuesday afternoon group was under-attended, so the gallery lost some money on that, so we had to let go of that one. But to help secure the other classes, we've encouraged ticketing through Eventbrite. If you're not sure about that, Smithdown staff are really happy to help sort it out for you. So Eventbrite is a ticket platform, and if anyone is interested but doesn't know how to do that, we can send you the link. If you want to just phone Smithdown, Brenda, or you can drop in the way people normally would, and they'll do it for you. For the whole course, as people used to do, or you could book just on a week-by-week basis. Essentially, what Eventbrite lets them do is know how many tickets are left for each event. So what we got last time, Tuesday, a lot of people booked in. So those were available for
Can't hear you.
I was
Your voice keeps going.
hoping
Yeah.
to be better on this one, 'cause I've jiggled with the sound as well. I did a tutorial online about how much better the sound quality will be today. But apparently not. It may actually be my throat. I think my throat's a bit blocked up as well. On the Tuesday afternoon, a good few people signed up but didn't come, which meant that the seats were kind of block booked, so no one else could take them. So they lost some money on that one. So they've been a little bit circumspect about doing that again. But we've kept the Tuesday and the Wednesday morning, which are the main ones really, I think, for Art from the Start. But also on top of that, they've given us more slots basically. So although we've lost the Tuesday afternoon, they've extended the offer and given us an evening life drawing on Wednesday. So a few people at phone Smithdown asked for evening sessions. Now, I know we didn't used to run them at Rose Lane, but it's worth a try for a few weeks just to see if people want it or if people are interested in it. And the Friday afternoon slot will be Intro to Print, which is what we used to run at Rose Lane. So that's a 6-week printmaking course. And after the 6 weeks, the slot, that session will hopefully remain and become Print Club, which we also used to run at Rose Lane. So Smithdown 455 is still offering us exhibition space around September or October. So any work that we produce with them can go into their exhibition. And if you've seen their exhibitions, you'll know how professional and how beautiful and supportive they are. And I don't know whether anyone's had the chance to get in and see Paul's exhibition, but not only is the painting displayed really professionally, but they've made the wonderful kind of digital printed cards of his work as well. So, you know, on a there's this really good merchandise about Paul's work.
When does it finish, Tom?
I think it's on till the end of this month.
Okay.
So we'll see it on Wednesday when we go there.
Yeah.
We normally do a month run of each one. And he's in there with a couple of other familiar faces. You might recognise some other work in there. So it's not
Steve Bailey. Steve Bailey.
Steve Bailey's got some good work in there, and there's a really good photographer as well. So yeah, it's a lovely little show. But I think that's kind of the start of a. If you saw the show before that, John Minion's show, that was all John's work. So it's nice.
Recording in progress.
So yeah, Paul's more than capable of filling that if he wants to, but I think he just had the deadline on. He wanted to contribute to that show for the start. But, great little show if you get to see it. So the life, which is traditionally at the moment it's this afternoon and Wednesday, but it always was Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday. So well, it's a shame that we lost the Tuesday afternoon slot for after the start. At the time, we had to shift for the Tuesday Life Drawing to Monday, and we noticed a drop off in numbers. So we'll be moving that back to a home slot on the Tuesday from next week, and hopefully that'll kind of allow more people to come along to it.
Recording in progress.
Sorry about this. I'm having trouble here. I'm going to have to try and. Sorry.
Okay.
So Talk, is the life drawing on Tuesday or Wednesday?
It'll be Tuesday and Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
What's the one this week?
No, today it'll run as normal because we haven't told you about it yet today. So
Right.
today is
Can you send us a link for that then, please,
the link for it. Yeah,
for today.
So
yeah.
what time will it be?
it'll be the normal time today, which is 1 o'clock.
Oh.
And Wednesday Wednesday and Tuesday, I think we'll probably go to 1:30. And the reason for that is because obviously we've got to get back from Smithdown in the morning. So last time we were frantically trying to tidy up, get on the bus and get back. And I remember just falling in, not having time for lunch or anything, but falling in, pushing the cat out the way and pressing go and the meeting would start. And trying to look all as professional as possible. But yeah,
It's 1 o'clock today.
it's 1 o'clock today, yes. So today is the normal session. And Eve will be doing
Yeah.
some kind of classical poses for us today. So I've sent
And
us
you'll
some
send us the
images.
link, yeah?
I'll send you the link, yeah.
Okay.
And then next week it's Tuesday
And
Next week
Wednesday.
will be Tuesday and Wednesday, yeah.
at
And
1:30.
but then will be 1:30, yeah.
Okay.
So, in fact,
Oh, did you say, are you doing the Tuesday morning, Tuesday and Wednesday class? Couldn't quite hear you before.
yeah, this week I'm going to do the Tuesday and the Wednesday class. And Wednesday morning we'll be introducing the new staff member. So from then the Wednesdays will belong to Elsa. And I've actually included in the slides some of her work. So I'm just making a note for Leslie, so we don't often get those things. Right, we'll go back into share. That sounds sorted out. So yeah, life basically life is going back to its home slot on a Tuesday, and the repeat session will be on the Wednesday. So that's the kind of the more popular run of it. And as I say, for today it'll stay on the Monday. We've got Eve doing some Greek goddess poses for us today. Also, just at the bottom, it's worth pointing out that access to non-patrons come along was always available, and we used to do that for £10, but we're going to do that for £8 now.
So will you record this afternoon's life drawing?
Yeah. So we record that and then we'll do that again on Wednesday as normal.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've also improved the Patreon, so we're kind of quite excited about this. This is for us, this is the way forward. So in recognition of the kind of loyalty you guys have given us, we wanted to improve the Patreon offer. So we look back at the years of Patreon, and some of it didn't make as much sense, and some of it wasn't kind of very useful, or it didn't seem that functional really. So we wanted to find ways to make that better. So Paul and I had a great meeting last week. So this is the white one outside is the photo of what's going on at the moment. So we had the official Patreon, which was £5 tier. Patreon-only communities such as Zoom group discussion, well, that's this. digital copy of Image of the Month. Now, we never really did that because that was included in, you know, we usually put our favourite image in either the newsletter or in one of the seminars, and one of the video tutorials. Now, when we said the video tutorials, it was when we started Patreon. We used to do more kind of film clips of how to do a particular thing, and mostly that's been converted into this seminar. So again, that's not massively useful, but what seems better? So this is the new updated version. Patreon community, such as the weekly Monday seminar, and access to 3 of the 4 life drawing sessions per week, as opposed to previously just 1. So when we started doing the life drawing for this, the way we did it was that for the £5 here, we'd offer 1 of the life drawings a week, 1 of the life drawings a month rather. So we're going to offer 3 a month now. So anyone on the £5 tier will get 3 of the links sent out probably for the first 3 weeks of each month for life drawing. Now, normally, if you think about that, as you know, as for a non-patron, that would be £8 a week, or for £5 you can have 3. So it's a much better deal.
Just ask something, Talk, you know, for the new people here, can you just explain exactly what Patreon is? Because I never knew when I first started what it actually was.
Yeah, it's an amazing. It's a platform. So it's you can imagine Patreon as a pay-per-view TV. So a lot of people video content or use it to musicians use it to release new songs, those types of things. So we thought it was useful for us to use it as. I follow an artist on it who makes comics, and he releases like a daily comic, but he puts them on Instagram, but people get them kind of a couple of weeks after they're actually done. So on Patreon, he does them on the day. So anyone who follows him on Patreon gets them immediately and gets to see them before everyone else. So that is kind of his hook. For ours, we use it to teach it. So, for instance, this seminar is through Patreon, and our life drawing is through Patreon. Or the website itself, which has got all our resources on it, that's all through Patreon. So it's a wonderful, really accessible software. Now, there is a slight problem with it in that it tends to log people out. So I often wonder whether people have got access to all the old stuff, because that's, you know, part of what you should have from Patreon. But I know when I follow this other artist, it lets me see the work, but then it won't let me comment on it, or, you know, it wants me to log in every time. So it can be a tricky one to get used to. But I think we could do a whole Monday seminar just on the ways to get the most out of Patreon. But for now, the offer is that, you know, that we're making it better. So, for instance, this seminar we always ran for an hour, but we you know, if you're honest, think back over the last few months, we tend to go on a bit over the hour, and we always have to say to people, you know, sorry, we've overrun. But I think we should be offering an hour 20 instead of an hour, so we can fit in more stuff. We can get.
You know, the second tier, then, which is the
this one, the all access then.
15. That's sort of 15. Well, it's £18, isn't it?
It's 18, isn't it? Yeah.
So that's sort of
take 18 and we only get fit. Is that what it is?
Yeah, 18.
18.
Yeah, the VAT, isn't
That
it?
gives you access to all the live class, the Zoom ones.
Yeah, that's all the life classes.
Seminar. Right. But the
Seminar.
£5, you just have 3.
You just have 3, yeah. So that's, you know, it was up until this week. It was only 1 really that you got for £5 access, but we want to improve that. So, yeah, for the £15, we've got all the previous benefits. We've got access to all the live drawing sessions, voting power on upcoming content. We also want for this one, a lot of people, you know, don't see the value of it, the one-to-one tutorials, but we think the bookable tutorials for this are really useful. So anyone who's done them in the past knows that, you know, we do kind of take the time to go pretty in depth with your work. So it's not like the seminar really where we just talk about a project. It's where we talk specifically about your work. And we don't force them on people. So we don't say like, you've got to have your tutorial this week in the way they would at the college. When, you know, if you're on the £15 tier and you want to book tutorials where we talk about your work specifically, then that's what that's for. And also we thought, and this is the big change really, We're doing more live events, obviously. So for the all access patrons, for live day courses now, because they're on the £15 tier, they'd be getting 15% off any live day courses as well. So, for instance, the one that's coming up is Etch and Sketch at the Everyman. We've got more coming up at Bridewell later on. And we've got a variety of other day courses which Lias will run. Now, I'll explain the difference that as we go on. But for instance, like courses like the Etch and Sketch at the Everyman, I know Leah and Marjorie have already bought tickets for that, but they're both £15 patrons, so they'll get a 15% off that. So on the day they'll get £9 back each, which is kind of, it's better than a poke in the eye, isn't it? And I think it's
Advertise the Etch and Sketch.
Sorry, what are you saying, Sylvia?
The Etch and Sketch at the Everyman.
That's on the 7th of May, or Saturday, 7th of May.
Have we known about that? I mean, I've not heard of that, have I? Or have we?
We've
No,
mentioned
I
it,
don't
but
remember hearing about that.
there's a couple of slides come up about that, so you'll see more about that. But yeah, that's the next.
Oh, how come people have already booked into that and we don't know about it?
Facebook.
Yeah, it was on Facebook.
probably.
We put flyers out about it. So the Facebook is probably the biggie, really.
I think, well, I'm not on that. That's
I think, you see, that's sometimes, just to be fair, honest, I kind of think as a Patreon or whatever we kind of miss things sometimes. that-
Yeah, I didn't know about it.
But
I won't be able
I
to.
mean, that is something that
Yeah, I'm surprised people didn't know.
I think we should all be included. There's other stuff like at Kirby and urban sketching and things that I don't feel we're getting.
Well, so would you want like a newsletter of stuff, or?
Yeah.
Don't you think it's fair that we should get?
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
If we're contributing to it, don't you think it should?
yeah. I'm
not what
surprised
we
that people
want,
didn't know about it, really.
well, not everyone's on Facebook.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not. You know.
I just
No, I
think
don't
it's-
do Facebook.
I do, but I haven't seen it on Facebook either.
I do, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, maybe that's.
As a Patreon, we should be included
Yeah.
with every kind of
Yeah, no, I'll do that.
anything that's
on board.
going on.
Is
Yeah.
it the same as the life drawing? Is the Etch and Sketch the life drawing one?
It is, yeah. So
Yeah,
how
is
did you know about that one, Ursula?
Because it was mentioned when at the Playhouse Day. It was
Right, yes, we did talk about it then, didn't we?
yeah.
Let's just skip forward to show you that one. There you go. So the next major workshop is the Etch and Sketch Day, which will be based at the Everyman on Hope Street, and we'll be returning to Life Drawing in the morning and Dry Point Etch with our portrait print passes. So obviously we can't get Kitty there because Kitty is cast iron and obviously much too heavy. But this is on Saturday the 7th of May, and tickets are available through Eventbrite. So that's one of the, we publicised through Eventbrite, but we were assuming that people were getting that, but it's interesting to see that you're not. So that's the kind of thing we want to step up to. So that's
It was on a flyer, wasn't it? It was on a flyer.
was on a flyer as well, yeah. So we put it out to a couple of publicity routes, but
I think the newsletter is a good idea.
I do.
Yeah.
so that so
We,
newsletter. So if we did that as a Word file, and we because even obviously when we do a post on Eventbrite, it should email you and let you know that that's coming up. So if we put it as a would you say like once a month or that type of thing?
Mm.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, give a chance to kind of plan if we want
So-
to.
Yeah.
And we could, what we'd probably do with that was we'd send that out on Patreon maybe on the Monday, and on the Friday, once you guys had kind of had a proper chance we could send it out to the wider mailing list as well, so you'd get priority on getting tickets first.
Yeah.
And
Or even, talk as and when things are coming up, just to put it on Patreon.
yeah,
Not in the newsletter, but just, this course is coming up or
Yeah.
whatever, so we have a bit of advance.
Yeah. This is what we usually do, and I think this one is probably only because it's been a week off for Easter that that the people know about it, some people don't. But yeah, I'll do that. I think that's an interesting idea.
Just as and when things come up, it'd be fun, you know.
Yeah, but if you look back at like the posts on Patreon, that's exactly what we do. When there's like there's a couple of exhibition links up just before Easter for Nicola's one and for Leslie's one. So that's kind of is what we're doing. But I think a newsletter would be a more organised way to do it. So this is the one that's coming up. It's on the 7th of May, and if you're on a 15 or a 25 tier, then you will get quite a sizable discount off it. So this is photo from the last one, and the Everyman have been brilliant with us. But we'll just go back and we'll. So that's the flyer that's out at the moment, which is in the Everyman. Let us put a couple in, but the guy behind the counter wasn't helpful at all, to be honest. The manager said, "Yeah, put the flyers out." The guy behind the counter was like, "That, oh no, we don't do that." And he said, "I can put them backstage for the staff." And I said, "I don't want them for the staff. I want them for the people." But yes, if you'd been in the Everyman, I wouldn't be surprised if you had seen those flyers, because the guy was less helpful than you might imagine. So yeah, just to conclude on the Patreon stuff, the final, there used to be a 45 one, but we got rid of that because it wasn't that much different from the 25 one. But, so the VIP patron gets all the benefits from the last two tiers, and instead of the 15, obviously they get 25% off Liar State courses. So that's a quarter already paid. And first refusal on courses we don't finance directly. So a lot of the courses coming up, like the Kirby one, which we'll explain, and the Continuing Ed one, we'd be paid through the institution. So we can't kind of offer a discount on that because that's their money, not ours. But the ones like the one coming up at the Everyman, the ones at the Bridewell, any day courses like Hilbury Island, those types of things, they would all be accessible for this scheme. And again, if you're not sure about which one's which, just kind of email us and we'll let you know. So on the subject of that, this is continuing education is part of the university, and it's something that Paul and I have both done sessions for before. But usually it's lectures. Usually it's in a lecture theatre. Whereas what they want this time is for us to go to Nest Gardens and do landscape sessions. So we were quite excited about that. The only problem is obviously Nest Gardens is miles away, and I don't drive. So immediately
you can get a bus. You can get a bus.
I had that, but it said
487 direct.
Yeah.
Sorry, so what's that? 487.
Yeah, direct from town, just off Whitechapel, Thomas Street, I think. So Thomas Street.
All the way to the door of Nest Gardens.
Yeah.
Wow, brilliant. How long does that take? Is that a couple of hours, or is that?
No. Is it about an hour?
Okay, that's much better. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
But yeah, we've got that'll be on Saturdays, and we messaged them back. So we proposed this. Now, this isn't necessarily what they're going to agree to, but this is what we're saying at the moment. So we'd say on June the 11th we do a draw on one, and we do essentially things like the rule of thirds and what you want to include in the composition. So it's almost like urban sketching, that one. The next one will be the 25th, and we would go to Crosby Beach rather than Nest Gardens to do some analysis on the Iron Men and to draw, and also to do things like draw in the samples. So I think that's quite an exciting way of doing group drawing. The next one is back at Nest Gardens, so developing the first session really into paint. So we've been looking a little bit at I've been kind of researching more about underpainting and those types of things. So it'd be nice to deliver a session on that if we can.
Will it matter if you've not been to the first one? Because I'm away for the first one. But
No, it wouldn't matter, no, because I mean, essentially you could take photos on that day and develop them into paint. You could spend an hour doing drawing and develop that into paint. So it'd be very bespoke, very whatever you wanted really.
Right. Okay.
The last one, I just think if we watch Goldsworthy next week, this would be a really nice response to it. So we used to do a field trip to the Lake District where we get artists to work with natural materials only. So they couldn't bring string or wire or glue or masking tape or anything into the environment. They had to only use things that were there, like grass and berries and twigs and all those types of things. So it was a fascinating. We used to do that for a week. Now, if Nest Gardens let us have that for a day, that would be an amazing thing. If we could spend the whole day working in natural materials. Now, that wants to be an autumn one because we don't want to pull plants down. We want it to be plants that are, that have fallen to the ground. So what Glenn will say about that one, I don't know whether the Nest Gardens people might go, it's too pretty and too, you can't be leaving a bit of art around. But they have an archaeology department who use the space for like metal smelting and all kinds of things. So I don't think they're going to stop a few artists doing something beautiful. But we'll let you know.
Are these full day?
Used to be, yeah, but I imagine 10 till 5.
Yeah.
So they will be full day ones, but yeah, we'll see what the university say about that. So obviously this is what we're proposing to them. Kirby are offering more stuff as well. Now I'm not sure. This is a little bit less certain. I'm not sure what they're offering really, but they've got this idea, a project called Kirbyography, and it's about memory of Kirby. So part of it that they wanted Paul and I to do a while ago was to work with schools in Kirby. And obviously Paul and I were like, oh, kids, I don't know, I'm not sure about that. Neither of us are used to working with kids, and neither of us I don't think our insurance covers working with kids even, so if we break one, we don't know what to do about it. Certainly Kirby are eager to get us back there. Those workshops, again, were pretty successful, and we'd like to maintain that relationship with them. Particularly as well, if we can get the best in with them. Tuesday nights back at 92 degrees. That's through Eventbrite as well. So they sell out every week, and this week we've got our new staff member joining us, who's Karen Halewood. So we may also get Linda, possibly if we're lucky, but that might be a bit later on in the year. So Karen and Linda are about to sign, as you previously talked Paul at the college, and are excellent educators with decades of experience between them. So I'll show you a little bit more about them. So this is the etch and sketch. I will post again, not just this, but I'll post this flyer with all the details on Eventbrite, so people can see that and see if they want to join in. Yeah. Remember as well, when we do this one, the £15 and the £25 people would get a reasonable discount on it.
Does the discount come off when you book?
We haven't figured a way to do that. I think what we have to do is give people the readies back on the day. There is Eventbrite is one for software, but there's a way to do discount codes on it, but I haven't had time to figure it out. It's a bit complicated. So just for this one, we'll probably just give people money back on the day. But if we can come up with a discount code, we'll be able to just send that out to, like, there'll be a different discount code for the £15 or for the 25. We could email that to the individual people involved. But it's a great day, and it's exactly what we used to do at Rose Lane, where we'd have the model live drawing in the morning, and then we'd do the dry point in the afternoon. So hopefully that's an ongoing relationship with the Everyman, and they have been brilliant with us. We have to include this as well.
That's great.
That's
So-
good.
Liz hated this, by the way. She said, "Oh, it's horrible, I'm not putting that on the wall." Paul said, "Yeah, So yeah, we had a meeting about becoming a CIC last week. Now, we haven't got a deadline for this, but essentially Paul will be the director and the chair. I'll be the director and the treasurer. So I imagine the treasurer needs to be able to do maths, and that is something that when they said, okay, that's what I'm going to do, I was like that. And Liz will be the secretary. So that's only when we're hosting kind of meetings of, of kind of policy and those types of things. But well, basically, we wrote all our policies way before we were at Rose Lane, so it's all in place anyway. And they include things like trying to use environmentally friendly stuff and using only safe inks and printmaking and those types of things. So we're going to find out more about that. And I know some people know about CICs, so we might be taxing some people for information about what the benefits and disadvantages of that are.
What does
Interest,
CIC stand for again?
community interest company.
All right. Okay.
So it's not a charity and it's not a limited company. It's somewhere in between. And the idea is that the companies which are CICs should be offering something back to the community. So when we put our original proposal together, we do things like working with local businesses. So that's 92 Degrees, that's 455, that's university, that all those, and offering affordable classes. So if you compare our classes to Dot Art and things like that, you'll see that they are a lot more affordable.
Yeah.
And also there's loads of ethical things that you can do as a CIC that Paul and I wanted to do anyway, so we might as well be a CIC.
Doc, I'll have to leave. My concentration has come to an end, but thank you.
Yeah, no worries. It's good to see you, and thank you for sending the lovely work as well.
Oh,
The
good.
lovely work, the stuff with the sheep. I was delighted by that, and the acorns.
Oh, it was a fir cone.
Fir cones. That was it. Yeah. So we're recording this so you can see the rest once for the rest.
Yeah. Okay. Bye,
Nice to see
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
So this is the one of the new staff. This is the Elsa Parkin, and I'm absolutely delighted to get Elsa on board with this. So Elsa's my oldest friend, and she was at college with Paul and I many years ago. She's been a qualified designer since the early 90s, produced many commissions and often specialised in textile, interior and abstract painting. She's taught special needs kids for many years, and I'm absolutely delighted she's agreed to come on board with us today. She's actually teaching this morning, so she can't come to this session. But she has Wednesday mornings free. So when I said, would you join in with Half the Start? We went and sat in her garden and wrote the next 8 weeks in a matter of about an hour. And it was so exciting to be devising this with someone. So Elsa is, this is some of her painting. Elsa's an abstract painter. And it suffice to say, this one was made during the period of lockdown. And to me, it has a COVID feel about it.
Yeah.
It is interesting that someone else saw it, and one of the other lecturers saw it and said, "Oh, this is like a woodlouse with eyes." And, when my partner saw it, he said, "Oh, this is a map of a Celtic burial ground." So it's all of these things. Often as well, what she does, because she's a textile specialist, she'll stitch beads into them. So it's not just a flat texture, but her work is very, very beautiful, I think.
That's
Lovely.
That's gorgeous.
And she's very concerned with colour and with pattern and with so this is, I went over to say to her, I'm doing a slideshow on some of your work, and obviously this is just, I was just walking out of a flat and I thought, it's just so beautiful. But she, basically she studies the interiors and textile, but she's a painter.
I kept helmet.
It's just wonderful, isn't it? But things like this, like she'll think nothing about, this is leftover rags from when she was building the carpet. And she obviously just goes, well, that's where that lives, And she's got this. It looks like she's lived here for years. She only moved in at Christmas.
Oh,
It's just. So yeah, I'm really proud that she's joining us for this, and she's absolutely lovely as well. These are some of the mandalas that she made, and if you look at it on your screen, you can probably see one of them was for me, the green one. This, you can't really see the size of this. These are plants at the side, and this was like a couple of meters wide and even taller, which is an art type thing. But often she'll work as well on textile. So one of the exciting things at the moment is Elsa's got loads of skills that I haven't got. So I, she trained in a very different way to me and Paul. So she's going to be bringing. One of the things she's offered already is to do a felt making workshop for you guys in the summer. So felt making is a skill that I wouldn't have the foggiest with, but I've seen her do it, and it's an amazing thing. So So if she does that for us and we can do that probably at Gallery 455, that would be a great kind of new direction to go in as well.
So she's doing the Wednesday morning.
Well, she'll be doing the Wednesday morning. I'm going to go along for the first week with her, just to introduce her to people. And I'm just, I kind of want to come along as a punter to her classes, for her to deliver. But
And it's okay to not go to every single one of those if you can't.
yeah, if you let the gallery know, basically, I mean,
Unless I think we had a notice from them saying, just go into Eventbrite and just book the ones you want to book.
yeah, and that'll tell them essentially which ones have got free.
Yeah.
So if people do want to go, it
Yeah.
won't be like the last Tuesday one where people thought that it was all. So they couldn't come on. So that's the reason for doing it. But it also, they're so flexible. If there's any week that you want to go and you've got tickets or whatever, just phone them, let them know, and they'll sort it.
Yeah.
Right. But we can just book it week by week, can we?
Can book it week by week, yeah. But we can't block book the whole course anymore. But not you can block book the whole course, but you've got to buy the tickets for it.
Go by it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to go into each one. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you look at the attendance, actually Wednesday morning, Tuesday morning are really well attended. So there's no worries about those anyway. It was the Tuesday afternoon that the fell flat really.
Yeah.
So this is another new staff member, Karen Halewood. So Karen was a lecturer with me and Paul at the college, and is a graphic designer, a typographer, and an author. She's a specialist in esoteric and magical symbols. Visual work is often lush digital or screen printed images, sumptuous colours with a Deco or Nouveau feel. So she used the COVID lockdown period to do her MA after lecturing for years with us. She's working as an artist at Bidston Observatory doing a residency there, and I'm equally delighted to welcome her to the team. So I put there, like she's also enormously warm and approachable, and the foundation suits her. So she's one of these people who as soon as you speak to her, you go, oh, she's just on our side. So we tricked her into coming along to the week before's life drawing at 90 degrees. So she sat and had a draw. And she's now agreed to help out doing the Tuesday night life drawings with me. And you probably, the reason I included this photo is because this person with her back to us is another lecturer who may well, this is Linda, who may well be joining us, but she can't join us till after August because she's still officially at the college until then. So yeah, that's why I chose to show Karen's face, but not Linda's face, because Karen will be with us. They won't yet. So I thought as well I'd show a little bit of Karen's work. So it's really different to Elsa's work, and it's very kind of full of symbolism and quite kind of profound, weird stuff. Particularly love this one. It's absolutely breathtaking. And this was a really big scale. This was about 1 meter. This one.
Is it a print?
It's screen printing. So she taught all kinds of graphic processes like typography and Photoshop and all those types of stuff when she was at the college. She is a printmaker and she's a performance artist. She's one of her main things was that these are plates from a book. She wrote a book about magical symbolism, and there was a conference in New York that she went and she kind of gave seminars there, and apparently they said that she was the most important presenter there. So, but she's very, very humble and she won't say it. So I'll say that for her because she's so laid back and so chilled. You would never guess that she's actually the kind of author who's been kind of featured in New York and everything. But one of the things she wants to bring is more collage and typography and things like that. So she's got, again, loads of ideas. So this is another one. Obviously we were doing the Hilbury Island trip every year, really. So we did it for 4 years, and then COVID came along and flattened it. And if anyone came with us, you'll remember that the last time we did it, Hilbury Island was actually on fire.
Oh,
No, well, that was what I said. A piece of stone in the middle of a body of water was the last thing I expected to be on fire.
yeah.
But it was. There was a cave underneath it, and some workmen had left some very dodgy materials in the cave, which had caught light.
Remember that?
Yeah, it was unbelievable, wasn't it? And a lot of there was like a expandable plastic foam that was floating out to sea, and seals were eating it. And it was a complete environmental disaster. But it happened on the day that we booked going over there, so the police stopped us. But we did both. We did Little Eye and Middle Eye. So we did, and actually, it was really a strange advantage was that we didn't go to Hilbury, so we drew it from Middle Eye. Normally, we wouldn't get to draw Hilbury itself; we'd be on it, so we couldn't draw it. So it was a great day, but we ended up going back to the local pub and looking at our work over at the end of the day, which is a great way to spend a summer day. So I've ordered a copy of Tides and Times, which is Tides are so different every day that you have to know in advance. And obviously there's an online thing, but it only gives you the next week's tides. So in order to book it, we need to know kind of what the tides will be in July and August. But as soon as we get a date confirmed for that, obviously, we'll let you know about it, because it was one of the most. It's just a crazy, wonderful day that we used to do, and we're really glad to have that one back. And just to close up with this is the current project. So we were just saying that we're still encouraging IS artists to draw every day whenever possible, and to explore or subvert current group projects, such as this one on Journeys, which is showing no sign of running out of steam. And I think initially I thought Journeys would run till about now, but I think there's weeks and weeks we can still get out of it because there's so much to do about it. So if we do Gold Journey next week and the week after, if we tie it into ideas around Hilbury Island, or if we show you some of the new stuff that we've got. So I'm just gonna, I think that's the last one. Yeah, I'm gonna come out with this one. And go into this one, which is a game that we set. If you remember this, we set a game before Easter.
Oh, yeah.
So some people were here for this and some people weren't. But I asked at the time what the connection between these places was. So it was this one, this one, this one, this one. That one. Now, obviously, it turned out that the connection between those was that they were all inside musical instruments, so they weren't architectural spaces at all.
Yeah.
I knew actually before I did this, so Rod will get this. So Rod spotted it about 3 slides in, but I think this one, there was ones inside pianos, ones inside. That one is obviously, you can see the frets at the top there. That's inside a violin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can see that.
It looks like a crazy old fairground or something.
Yeah.
But you know,
You see it? It looks like.
so what the challenge was then was also we looked at these other artists, Liz Scrine, who makes these tiny little ceramic boxes, which she liked and sells them as lamps. Which I think are just stunning little things. These are about 8 or 9 inches across, and she lights them from inside, and they appear to be little buildings. So it really, I mean, I just think they're great.
Yeah.
Liz Scrine is a Manchester artist who is again very approachable and very flexible. This was Liam's piece. He was one of my students a long time ago, and it was an underground car park. Except it wasn't. It was made out of hairdryer parts in a box. So we got kind of fascinated by this idea that a space might not be a space. And Thomas Demand is the master of this. He essentially makes very accurate models and then photographs them. But the photograph is the finished piece, so we never know really how big the model is. But I can tell you that this one is probably the size of a shoebox.
Fantastic.
It's really
Amazing.
scary. I was saying about this one. I find it really disturbing somehow.
Yeah.
in a way that I don't find the Liz Scrine or Liam stuff disturbing. And it's something about his choice of places, and this kind of ruined office with the paper all over the floor, as if you're desperately looking for something.
Burgled.
Yeah.
Burgled, yeah.
Yeah.
But also that, like, the cold desolation of places like that. So it's not about how we feel at work and all these types of things.
How did he do that? She's only the size of a shoebox.
It's little tiny. See the way the lights are hanging down. They're little LED wires. So
Brilliant, isn't it?
it is pretty weird, isn't it? But it's somehow I find it quite. I don't know why it's a haunted space. I find it a bit frightening.
Yeah.
This one, he's got a set of concerns, and this one is the Oval Office, which speaks very, very well of the things that worry him. So yeah, beautiful stuff. And then this one was I call this Dusk in November because I photographed it at dusk in November, and it was obviously a landscape with pylons, except clearly it wasn't. It's a towel that had dropped on the bathroom floor with the gap between the it seemed like loads of fun. And then there was another version of it, which this became cloud, but actually that's just the reflection of the towel in the side of the bath. So I got really interested in this idea of how could we make a space that's not a space. So the challenge here was to ask you guys to do that. So let's have a quick look then and see. Some people did it, some people didn't, and it wasn't like a homework for an exam. It was something that I thought a game that some people might want to do. So whose is this one?
Nobody's owning up to it.
I think that is absolutely brilliant. When I first saw that, I thought it was like either a car park or some industrial space with this light here. It just looked like you would drive out into the daylight. And this was architectural. It just has an under the bed thing.
Yeah.
You see it, and then you go.
And then you see the loo roll.
You see the loo roll. See the tripod, or
Oh my
but
God.
it's fascinating. I'd never realised that the slats of the bed are clearly rafters or kind of architectural features.
Try not to spend too much time under the bed.
Trying to, well, yeah. I mean, at a bare minimum, I'll do like an hour a week under the bed. Again, I don't know whose this is, but
That's mine too.
it's absolutely beautiful. So is that the cutout flap from the side of a box? Or?
It's a box. It came with something in it, and that flap was already cut for some reason. And the figure behind is a Lego fireman.
Right. I love it. So what these things are doing really is they're lying about scale, so we tend to imagine ourselves in them, so we think, well, they must be really big, yeah. But of course the small is just as interesting as the big.
Oh, yeah.
That's the same Lego fireman.
I love it. Lynn, this is wonderful. So that really taps into that idea again, doesn't it, of the architectural being something that's big or small.
Yeah.
Spiral tunnel. So what is this in reality?
It was a plastic waste bin.
I would never have got that.
No, it just doesn't look anything like the bin. And I did change the picture on my phone camera. It's like, how you can edit it and put slightly different colours into it. So it gave it a different feel.
So I think we want to get into this idea that we've using our phone cameras as a drawing tool, as a way to make images. Because they're a kind of thing that artists in previous generations just didn't have. That we take for granted that we've got an incredibly highly developed camera just in our pocket. And it can edit, it can adjust colour, and it can do all kinds of things. So yeah, I would recommend that we take hold of the lessons that we learned from this very simple game, but that we can use it, for future ideas as well. That's wonderful as well. So is that a gap in the couch or something, or what is that?
It's a filled up guest bed, one of those with the
Yeah.
and I'd just been putting it away actually, and I thought, well, that would be a good photograph looking
Yeah.
through. And
So
I changed
she
the
said-
background as well.
It reminds me of one of those stone structures in a desert where there's like the kind of sort of water used to run through, or
I thought of desert, but thought of it's almost like fabric, isn't it? Almost like,
Like
a
a
giant
tent,
tent.
yeah.
Well, it is
Tent coming
fabric,
down.
that's
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
across the
The way
map.
it falls. Yeah.
Now that you said that, I'm getting that the idea of being in like inside a tent looking out at desert with all the colours fall and everything.
Very good.
Uh,
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. Good.
But-
Yeah.
So a Moorish space, not even like what it is, it's just a particular space. It
It's,
feels like you'd be able to sit on that like a circular bench with your feet in the middle.
Or a ham.
got this porcelain lamp, and it's got these little cutouts. So
Yeah.
I set the camera right to the opening of one of those cutouts and just took a photograph. Yeah.
That's really effective.
Great.
Good.
Very clever.
Very effective.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So it gives me the feeling of if this is like almost like some kind of gazebo type thing in a Moorish style that we're sitting outside in, but it's photographed from the ceiling of it.
Yeah.
So you're looking down at it.
Yeah, I should make a little figure, shouldn't I, and stick it in
Oh,
there?
yeah, I mean, this is
With the Lego man in it.
the ubiquitous Lego man. I also did this idea to me niece a couple of years ago when she was about kind of 14 or so, and she was fascinated about it. She started building models actually of spaces. So she got really into people like Thomas Demand as well. But it's a way of making images in the way that drawing or painting is. It's another access to it, and I think Paul and I both studied sculpture, so this is like, for me it's a completely logical way of making images. So Rod, do you want to tell us about this one?
Can you see the face?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the chin.
Yeah, I think so.
The
Yeah.
nose and the chin. Yeah.
Yes. The nose and the chin. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anybody have a guess at what the surface is?
Tree bark.
Tree. A tree.
It's a tree, yeah, it's a tree.
Yeah, is it dark? Yeah.
Oh, there's the face. Yeah, big nose. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm getting this. I'm getting
Green
eyes, a nose, and a chin and a mouth there.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a little
Yeah.
cousin for them and ear as well.
It's just the way you look at something and you suddenly see something. You just,
Yeah.
Got green hair.
that's it.
Yeah.
Green hair. That's right. Yeah.
I had green hair at one point. I've got no hair now. So.
We were walking in through Windermere. There's a shop selling these little miniature things. And
Right.
just for scale, you can, those little price tags that you
Yeah.
for half an inch long. So that's how tiny they are.
It's nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
So that'll be using real slate then, won't it, from the lakes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
But isn't that interesting that this is a little game that we came up with to think it's what we want, and yet when you go out, artists are actually selling this, and it's that will have cost kind of probably a $5's worth of glue and and small things, but it's the idea that they're selling, and the material slate is beautiful.
Take quite a lot of time to make something like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
it would do, wouldn't it? Yeah.
You look on the top left there, it's got all the the footpath signs.
Little footpath
Oh,
signs.
yeah.
One of,
yes.
one of them says Helvellyn.
It is as well. It shows a real understanding of the way dry stone is put together. So it's not like it's not just randomly clumped. That he's obviously looked at. So he's drawing dry stone wall, really, isn't he?
That's about they're about the
Oh,
size
that's
of
good.
A6.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's a great discovery, this show, because it backs up the reason why we were doing this. This is just to see other artists out there actually looking at this idea.
Where was it? Where was it, Rod?
There's a shop in Windermere.
Oh, right. Really nice.
displayed so badly. They could have been on some sort of fake grass or something.
He had a whole,
Yeah, that doesn't help in the background, does it?
a whole section. There's about 40 or 50 different models of different.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Go.
Those are the two best ones to get through the glass window.
They're great fun. Though. Hold on.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh,
That's fascinating. So, what's happening here, Lillian?
It's like that.
Yeah,
So
this is the inside of a square vase.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then it looks like it's picked up colours on the left there from something that was nearby. I don't even remember what that was, but it's sort of added to,
yeah. Nice.
you know, this orange.
This suggests a kind of doorway at the end of the corridor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the shapes, like this is almost like a stone lintel, or that type of thing. So
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by how we look at a little, like down the back of a fold-out bed or inside the bars or whatever it is, and we see what we recognise as the real world in there.
That's nice.
Yeah. That's another glass ornament that I've got.
Yeah.
That's like the inside of it.
Lovely colours, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's like a seascape.
It is, yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
what
it
it's
does
like.
look like a watery landscape of some sort, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's where it is there. It's like a candle holder.
Yeah. Excellent.
I like the colours.
Now that's intriguing. Is that almost the Empire State Building or something?
Bit ghostly, that one, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it was in the bedroom, and it was sort of the bed cover, but then the window in the background, you know.
Yeah.
It is creepy. It's very creepy, that, isn't it?
It is creepy, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, one of the things this is doing that the earlier ones are doing on the slides is playing with light as well. So it kind of talks about maybe a particular time of day or that type of thing as well. So, so that makes it more in the real world, doesn't it? That's quite interesting.
Look, that was another under the bed. Looking
Bit of a
through to
theme
the other
going
side.
Bit of a theme going here.
Yeah.
I wish I'd thought of that actually. Something like that. That is intriguing. What's
I
that?
know. It's like a wall hanging with sort of shells on it, but I
Yeah.
thought that looked sort of, I don't know, a bit weird, like creature-like, you know.
It does.
Mouse or a rat.
Yeah,
or
it does.
something.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But I think it's just a shell. Well, that was just a shell, you know. Yeah, just in the
It
dark.
looks like a cocoon of a moth or something.
Yeah, that's right. It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
I love this the colour balance and the textures as well. It's really
I think I
cool.
might have played around with the camera, with the
Yeah.
phone for that as well. Yeah.
We're duty bound to as artists, really. We've got to do that. It's a shame not to.
I thought it was cheating, but you know,
No,
maybe
no.
not.
We should keep as much as possible. That's what I'm saying.
That's a radiator, isn't it?
Radiator.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's just looking through, down. Yeah.
That looks like somewhere inside a power plant or something, doesn't it? Or some kind of industrial space. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Looks a bit dusty. I think I need to clean it a bit, don't I?
I wouldn't worry. You probably don't go down inside the radiator that often.
It's a good one, that.
No, these are
That's
nice.
good.
So what's happening here?
They are actually taken inside one of the installations at the art exhibition. They're made. She called them hanging bats, I think. So, but actually, when you look inside them, they look, well, I don't know. It just look like strange passageways through. So it's like a vellum with wood struts, but almost like ice, almost like looking through. Do you know what I mean? Like an ice structure, the one on the left, because it looks that sort of grainy, almost slightly shiny. So they're not that's cheating that they're not household objects. They're actually sort of installation and sculptures, really. But I just thought looking through the middle of them rather than looking at the outside of them, more effective.
Yeah.
Tunnels.
Love them. Jill had to go, but so I don't know what she intended by there's 3 of these. So that's cool, isn't it? And then that's
That's good, isn't it?
Pinecone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pinecone, yeah. I absolutely, when Sharon sent me this and I was thrilled with it. I think it's because it was such a new direction for Jill's work. And if we're really used to painting or drawing and we suddenly go, you know what, I'm allowed to make sculpture as well. Somehow that's such a liberation and such a that forward confidence and advancing thinking and acceptance of new ideas. And so when I have to say, when Sharon sent me this through, I was absolutely made up with it. It's a pity, Jill, when you watch this back later on that you're not here to tell us more about this, but just know that we're very pleased with it. So is that.
That's beautiful.
I like that.
I think that's the last of those. But we've got, because we have extended the length of time of this game at the moment, we've got time to show you one more thing. I'll just screen share again, and this is a piece that Sharon made as part of the Journeys project, and this is using another quite innovative approach. So PowerPoint is obviously is you know the old-fashioned, well, not old-fashioned, the original equivalent of slides, and its job is to show slideshows, but it can be used for animation, which I think is a fascinating.
Slideshow.
Brilliant. Oh, that's really clever.
This is really good.
Oh.
I think that's it, isn't it?
Brilliant, very good.
Very clever, Sharon.
It took me hours to do it with PowerPoint.
What a wonderful subversion of essentially a software which is not designed necessarily for artists. So we should be, if we take any, it was a kind of a set of little games like the last one, was just encouraging people to use a camera or a phone on a camera and get out and and I think we start to notice things then. So I think, Lynn, you said earlier on about just folding the bed down and going, oh, I can see that this is an interesting image. And the more we're looking, the more we actually see. And that's the soul of being an artist, I think. But Sharon, this is, I think the bit where it just came up in hail as it showed you the sky. I went, oh.
Yeah, because we tried to go to West Kirby in December, but we missed the train. So we went to Chester instead. So it's been 2.5 years we haven't been to West Kirby.
Yeah.
So I thought this time we got the timetable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and it's nice to see, to breathe the air, isn't it?
Yeah.
The air and to see, going around the marina.
There was something you were doing there, which we don't often do as artists, and we should do, which is a combination of text and image. So text and image is a really powerful way of working, I think. And it's you know, as I say, we've got some new artists coming on board with us, and Karen is a typographer, and she'll be, you know, kind of ideally in the summer she'll be delivering some workshops in typography and collage. So yeah, if we're interested in things like including poetry, including text or observations, or you know, some of the land artists like Richard Long who we looked at do those types of things. But, you know, that we'll have more opportunity for that this year as well. But Sharon, well done for being the first one to kind of break that ground. So,
yeah, that's brilliant.
It's the timing that is hard. It took me ages. Just how long do you want it or not? You know? Well, it's an experiment.
It's very good.
My tutor at college did a lot of residencies in Japan, and he was fascinated by he did stuff at Hiroshima, and he did stuff in Kyoto as well. He went through a big tunnel in Japan. I don't know where it was, but it went under a mountain, and he set a camera on his dashboard of his car to take photos every second. And he put the photos together into a PowerPoint, and then he reduced the time, you know, put it on auto, reduced the time between slides to 0, so it just played. And he subverted PowerPoint into an animation software that showed a film of him going through this just by individual photos speeded up and strung together. So it's one again that made me understand that PowerPoint is an artist's tool. But I've never said that to you guys, so the fact that you do that independently is worthy of kudos there. So well done. Right, so we've been through quite a lot there today. So we've got any questions before we go, or are we okay?
Yeah.
Margaret, yeah.
Because I only heard about the Zoom at 10:30. I missed the important part at the beginning. So where do I find out about the different courses that you're offering?
Well, if I'll put in chat. I'll put my email address. So if you just copy this down.
Right.
That's tocdor@hotmail.com. If you email me, I'll send you a copy of this video, because what we do is we record it and then we put it on the Patreon, so you can watch back the first bit that you've missed.
Thank you. That'd be great.
Yeah, it's, you know, this should be a resource for everyone, really. And we'll put it, you know, once it takes a little while to encode, and then we upload it to YouTube, but it'll be on YouTube by this afternoon, so it'll be on Patreon by the end of the day.
Thank you very much. Great. Yes.
Also,
people that don't belong to Patreon, will they be able to get the recording?
Yeah. Normally the set for patrons only, but I'm gonna set this one for public so anyone can see it actually. And it's one that as well that you can share with people, or because it's set for public as well, I can put it on the Facebook and people see it that way as well. So there's a lot of kind of technologies that start to work together if we figure out how to do them. So I shall now, I'll get off and start encoding this, and then I'll send out the link to Life Jordan this afternoon.
Oh yeah, 1 o'clock is it today?
It'll be 1 o'clock, yeah. And Eve will be doing 3 classical Greek goddesses for us.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.